Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually share the thoughts of my colleague on the other side, Mr. Auchengloss, about the need to provide technology so that the people that live in repressive regimes like Russia, China, Iran, we actually start a second front without shedding any blood, so that the people inside can actually, they're all seeking freedom, and we need to help them achieve freedom and throw the shackles of this regime. So hopefully we can have that kind of technology to allow them to communicate with themselves, so that can happen. One of the things that happened very interesting, there were hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets of Cuba back in a couple of years ago in July, and the first thing that the Cuban government did was shut down the internet, identify the leaders, and then took them out. If we can find a technology that allows the people to communicate with themselves, I think we can actually help the cause of freedom around the world. And so, I'll be working with my colleague there to see how we can make that happen. I actually believe that the cyber war that we're conducting right now is a battle, and I think actually the race is really the race to AI. Do you agree with that, Ms. Easterly?
I think AI will play a tremendous role in the battlefield to come, but both on private sector as well.
How important is the accumulation of data in this race to AI?
Well, it's all about data at the end of the day, so
Good.
data is the gold.
So here's where I'm going.
Data is the oil.
Okay, there's 150 million users of TikTok in the United States. How valuable is that data to the CCP?
Enormously valuable.
Okay. So, Mr. Ray, knowing that it is critical for the United States to win the race to AI, and TikTok is a huge source of data, actually in a language that they need, because I believe that the Chinese language is actually a disadvantage and that they need more Western languages in order to win that race. How critical to our security is well, TikTok is providing all this data to the CCP. Do you think that's a security threat to the United States?
I have very significant security concerns about TikTok. And it's a combination of the ability that the Chinese government would have to, if they choose to exercise it, to control the collection of the data, to control the recommendation algorithm, and if they wanted to be able to control and compromise devices. And if you layer AI, as you're saying, right on top of all that, it just amplifies those concerns, because the ability to collect U.S. person data and feed that into their AI engine, it just magnifies the problem. We look at AI as a concern in the wrong hands, but we also know that American AI innovation is the envy of the world, and the Chinese are trying to steal it. So the big concern, of course, is that they will not only steal American data and feed it into their AI engine, but that they'll steal American AI innovation and make their theft even more effective. And all you have to do is look at the Equifax hack from several years ago, where they were able to steal the personally identifiable information from 150 million American people.
Director, I'm running out of time, and I need to ask you a question. It's a direct question. It's a tough one, probably. I don't know how you're going to answer it. Would you ban TikTok in the United States? It's a yes or no.
Well, there's a decision-making process that's outside my lane, but let me try to answer it this way. As long as the Chinese government has the ability to control all these aspects of the business, I don't see how you get your way clear to mitigating those concerns.
Fair enough. I also share the concerns of my colleague, Mr. Johnson. Over the past 8 months, I've worked with the Chairman Gallagher and members of the Committee on Homeland Security, led by my Transportation and Maritime Security Subcommittee, to conduct a joint investigation examining cybersecurity and supply chain threats at U.S. maritime ports posed by the People's Republic of China. I anticipate sharing our joint investigative report soon. When I was the mayor of Miami-Dade County, we operate one of the biggest ports in the United States, and lo and behold, when I look at our cranes, they all had Chinese writing on it. So they all came from China. 80% of the world's cranes are actually manufactured in China. But what's worse, I thought that we were okay with software, maybe software developed in Western countries was okay operating these cranes, but we also find out that in a lot of instances, the software is shipped to China, stays there for over a year, and then it's installed in China, and we don't know what happens to it in that time. And so operating that software, knowing that that software either reporting back to China or that somehow it can be turned off at any time, think about it, 80% of the world's commerce is controlled by those cranes. So thank you, and I'm way over, so thank you very much for indulging me, Mr. Chairman.
Apparently the lights are also controlled by somebody. Carlos and I climbed up in one of those cranes. In Miami. I didn't know that I was afraid of heights until that moment, but it was illuminating. Ms. Stevens.
I'm always learning about our chairman.